Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Project Ozone 3, Kappa mode. How are you guys doing today? How's life? You might notice that there's a huge time difference between the last episode and this one because now we are at day 732. And that's because of the update. I had to make a huge mob farm for EMC and for animated blocks and I had to tear it down. So we need to redesign it one more time. Just in case you didn't know, 3 mods from the same author has been removed from the pack. One of them is Landia, the other one is Landcore, and the other one is Plus Tinkers. So no more Miriam blocks. And the wand of animation has been made much simpler, because now you need Sunny Quartz block, which has EMC. I crafted those Miriam blocks. In my previous episode, which I did not upload, I was trying to work on getting the different singularities so that we would be able to make the ultimate singularity. I was going to start with the ones which do not have EMC and will take the longest amount of time. There were 16 originally, but now we're left with 10. I think. So this is going to be a slightly derpy episode because I don't know which one is which. Alright guys, I had to dismantle my beloved mob farm and we have to start fresh. So the way this is going to work is that we're going to have different modules. Each module will have 4 mob duplicators with an animated block inside. And then we're going to drop those animated blocks by 25 blocks, so they will die instantly. The 4 mob duplicators that we have over here are going to be for the 8 times compressed obsidian, so this is going to be for our EMC. Therefore, there is not much processing to be done here, so we're just going to have an ender chest with an item collector and a filter so that it will only accept 8 times compressed obsidian. And then we're going to have a trash can with another item collector, but this time the compressed obsidian will be blacklisted so that we would be able to get rid of the loot bags. So if we want to test this guy, this is how fast it's going to work, which is pretty nice. And this is how fast we're gaining 8 times compressed obsidian from only 4 mob duplicators. They all have a range add-on of +5, 1 energy upgrade and 2 speed upgrade, and one of them fell down. Nice. Which is perfectly fine because we can just extend it by 1 block. So it should be fine. And obviously, this pattern has to be replicated several times if we want to spawn all the mobs that we want. So in total, we have 8 mob duplicators which are making 8 times compressed obsidian. And the rate is nice. It's actually nice. And just out of pure curiosity, what if we export 8 times compressed obsidian into an energy condenser and try to make the colossal star Omega? How fast will you work? Holy. Well, it's decent. I don't think you can go faster than that. Cause for fading matter, this is the speed. But we don't need fading matters anymore, so we just make U. But the problem is, it's actually consuming a lot of compressed obsidian and we will not be able to keep up because otherwise we're going to need like 200 mob duplicators and the game will be unplayable because of the lag. So obviously our EMC machine is not keeping up at the moment because we're making the colossal star Omega. And we're going to need that colossal star in order to make the final star shard, which is used in the chaos plank. And we need 2 of them for each plank. So it's gonna be awesome. We can go much crazier than this in order to generate EMC, but there is one small problem. There are so many more blocks that we need to spawn, much more. And since there is a limit to the game on how many mobs it can process at the same time, I think it's wiser if we start with those mobs and then expand on this one. Currently, there are 10 blocks in the game which do not have an EMC but do have a singularity. And those blocks are called Desh, Meteoric Iron, Steel Leaf, Flux Electrum, Fury, Ironwood, Pink Slime, Manganese, Jade, and Night Metal. Most of them do have a mystical agriculture seed, but if we want to convert them into blocks, which is used for the singularities, we're actually going to need to use a factorizer, which is incredibly slow. So our best solution is to just spawn the blocks and put them inside a quantum compressor. And this is where we're going to know if it's going to break our game or not, because each one of those mob duplicators is going to provide us with 5 blocks per second. I had to add 20 more. So you can do the calculations. And this is going to be our first module that we're going to work on. It is for Desh and Meteoric Iron. Down here I have 2 quantum compressors and each of them is hooked up to an item collector with a filter. So every block of Desh will go here, Meteoric Iron will go here. And once the singularities are made, they will go into an ender chest. And of course we also have a trash can with an item collector with a filter which is going to void everything else. And by everything else I mean loot bags. So let us give this guy a test and see if it works as well. Very good. I have to turn off my magnet. Okay. And this is how fast we're gaining blocks of Desh, which is not incredibly fast considering that we're going to need hundreds of singularities. So this has to run all the time. Oh, and by the way, just in case you're wondering, I'm using 2 spawners per block. So we have 2 for Desh and 2 for Meteoric Iron. Our FPS here is still okay. It's not the worst. What you see in front of you is a set of 28 mob duplicators covering 5 chunks. 8 of them are dedicated to producing EMC, and the 5 bottom ones are dedicated to making singularities. So the 5 bottom ones are actually making the blocks which do not have an EMC, and we need to make singularities out of them. And if you want to check, here is the result. For the previous mob farm, I had a better design and it was much faster because I was using Draconic Evolution portals and they were being removed literally from here. So the mobs were spawning much faster. But the thing is, when it was running for testing purposes, I got a lot of these blocks. These blocks do not have a singularity, but they're just used in crafting. For instance, we have 9500 blocks of ultimate and we don't need that much. So we're never gonna spawn them ever again. What I'm trying to say is that we're not going to add more spawners for blocks. We're just gonna add 2 more for EMC, because I think after that it gets really bad. My FPS is down to 33, and that's not very good. We're not lagging, but it's just FPS. This is literally the worst part, because I'm adding the final mob imprisonment tools, and it's going to get really laggy. I think. Well, it's not that bad. We can survive this, it's good. But look at the crazy amount of mobs. I think it's 300 entities at the same time. Okay, actually I think I missed one of them. I don't know which one. Nope. This one. Okay, now everything is working. And I'm happy. So generally speaking, we don't have any more business to do here. We can go back home. Alright guys, now that we have settled the issue with the singularities which do not have EMC, and we're also gaining a lot of 8 times compressed obsidian at a crazy fast rate. Wow. It's time to think about other singularities and how to convert that obsidian into EMC. And in the meantime, we managed to make 3 more of these guys. So I'm guessing in total we have 6. And also the 7th one is over there. So we need 1 more. Ooh. Personally, I do not think it's wise to use the 8 times compressed obsidian because that's 2.7 billion EMC. So we're going to break it down once to 7 times compressed obsidian, and that will be more manageable. Because in any case, in an energy condenser Mark II, this side will be full of 8 times compressed obsidian, and then we're duplicating iron, so that's a huge waste. So we will use this one, and I'm not exactly sure how we're going to set it up, but we're going to use an ender chest, and we're going to tell our applied energistic system to fill it in. It's actually not working as fast as I thought. We need to change it. Instead, we're going to export it to an RF Tools builder, and then make it. This should be much faster. And then we just export it into an ender chest. Like so. Where is it going? Oh, it's coming here, and this is how fast we're making fading matter, which we don't need. Just out of curiosity, if I put everything inside here, can I have 8 of you? No, it's still 6. Okay. I just added more EMC to our transmutation table, and we have 7 of them. So we can take this one, and we will have 8. Where did it fall? And we can make the final star shard. So it gives you an achievement for very stupid things, but not this one. I'm slightly angry. I did a little bit of testing and it seems that I have to actually break it down to 6 times compressed obsidian, because most of the items that we're going to need have very limited EMC. For instance, a block of emerald has only 150,000 EMC, and a 6 times compressed obsidian has 34 million. What that basically means is that a 6 times compressed obsidian is equivalent to 230 blocks of emerald. So we're going to break it down twice. But my main problem is that the RF Tools builder is not working fast enough, because we're getting only 45 blocks per tick, and we're going to consume more than that. So now that our Miriam factory is useless because Miriam blocks have been removed from the game, we need to make a few changes here. I just vein mined my factory. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, we had a few accidental vein mines because this guy has a huge range. I didn't know that. This is the part where most of you are going to disagree with me, but I think this is the best solution. So we're going to export the 8 times compressed obsidian to an ender chest. And then we're going to import them into RF Tools crafters. And each one of them is going to be programmed in order to unpack one of the 8 times compressed into 7 times compressed. And then break it down again to 6 times compressed, and then we just fill it in so that it does not screw up. And I think you guys get the idea. We're going to have 8 crafters, and I think that's going to be more than enough. So if we provide them with power, they should all start crafting, and they're full of 6 times compressed obsidian. And now we are actually going to extract every single one of them with speed upgrades in order to fill in the main ender chest, which we're going to use for EMC. And the lime channel on the ender chest is actually going to be used throughout our base wherever we're going to have an energy condenser. And since we're going to have a bunch, I need to color code a lot of them. And by the way, look at the range of this guy. It's awesome. There are 81 singularities in total, minus the ultimate singularity, which is the combination of all the other singularities, but we're not going to have 81 quantum compressors, because the thing is, a jade singularity which does not have an EMC is going to take hours and hours and hours to get ready, and we need hundreds of them. But a redstone singularity which has EMC is going to be ready in like 1 minute. so it does not make sense to have all of them at the same time, because our bottlenecks are the ones which do not have an EMC. We are going to craft singularities in batches of 24. That's a very arbitrary number, but the reason for that is very simple. Only 24 of them would fit here. So 12 on this side, 12 on the other. And I just remembered that I forgot to give these guys glowstone. And they should all be full, right? Yeah. And we also need to give each and every one of them an ultimate catalyst. And you should be very careful not to drop it here, because otherwise you actually have to break the machine. I went literally based on the JEI. So we're going to start with coal. And we're going to end with iridium. Coal goes in, iron, lapis, redstone, glowstone, diamond, emerald, aluminium, copper, tin, bronze, zinc, silver, lead, steel, nickel, constantan, electrum, invar, mana infused, tungsten, uranium, titanium, and platinum. So iridium is actually the extra one because it will be the 25th one. I made it by mistake. And so that we can keep track of everything that we are duplicating, we just put them here. Notice a very important problem. None of them are working because someone forgot to connect them to power. Yeah, we actually need better energy crystals because we're running out of channels really fast and we don't have enough power. That's not very good. Yeah, I had to sleep because we did not have enough power and that's not very good. We can't power them all? Yeah, it seems that we cannot power them all at the same time because our energy crystals are not keeping up, so I need to turn all of them off. And instead we're going to use cryo-stabilized flux ducts. You don't need two, you just need one. Yeah, exactly. Now it's working fine, because the energy crystal itself was actually struggling to power even 5 of them. So now I can actually explain to you why I'm doing it like this and I'm doing it in small batches. Look how fast we're gaining iron singularity. This is the speed. And notice how many dash singularities we have. 11. And this is already 28. So considering that it only took us 25 minutes to get 200 iron singularities and over the past 4 hours we only got 11 manganese singularities, it does not make sense to do all of them at the same time. Also, the ironwood singularity has me worried. It's working slower. I don't know why. Is it because it's in the center? Yeah, I think the main reason is that it's in the center, and look how many mobs we have in that same chunk. But it's okay, we're not in a hurry, I can change it later on. Aha, so we have a problem. I actually forgot one of the singularities, which is awakened draconium. And that is a problem. This item was recently added and it was not in my list and therefore I missed it. I saw it by accident and I double checked, so this is the only one we're missing. We are actually having an animated block for it and I have 10,000 of it in my ME system because I thought it's good to have awakened draconium, but now we need to make a singularity out of it. So we need more mob duplicators. And we need to make a few changes over here. So we cannot put the mob duplicators vertically in one chunk because otherwise the bottom one will not get that many mobs. Because look at these guys, they're going crazy and the center one down there is like so we can't do that anymore. I think we're going to keep the center one for Guardian of Gaia blocks or I don't know, ultimate blocks, the blocks that we don't need that many, and then we're going to move this to here, which is a separate chunk. And then we're going to add another spawning pad over here for Awakened Draconium. Just moving the Fury block and the Ironwood from the center to over here made a huge difference. It's now working at double the speed. It's really good. I'm happy. So we just need to make something for Awakened Draconium. And my only problem is I have no idea which one is Awakened Draconium. Yes, this one. You know, sometimes I do stupid things which I am also confused about. I did not have to find Awakened Draconium. We can just animate it. Good, we have 2 of them, and that should be enough. I have made an extra section for Awakened Draconium, I have a spot loader so that it's chunk loaded, and I do have a quantum compressor down there so that we are making Awakened Draconium singularities. And Fury block as well as Ironwood are also over here. So this is our entire mob farm, in its full glory. It's 9 chunks. Also, I'm not going to change the central one, which is for 8 times compressed obsidian, because we have 3 platforms which are working perfectly. And we have a net gain, so there's no point of changing that one, because I'm not making a collection out of 8 times compressed obsidian. Oh, and by the way, I should probably make a very small explanation that why did I have to change the design from what we had before, which was just a column of mob duplicators in one single chunk, to this one. The mob duplicator will continuously spawn mobs in its working area until it reaches a mob cap of 32. So that means if in this area we have 32 mobs, the mob duplicator will stop working. And that is why we are dropping them down so that we would be able to get rid of those 32 mobs as soon as possible so that they will constantly work. But if you have them in a column like this, like we had before, by the time you reach the 3rd or the 4th level, it's not going to spawn any more mobs because it will have 32 mobs around it. So this is literally the fastest way of getting rid of the mobs in the working area and also to get the drops, because we don't need grinders or anything, they just take fall damage. I also mentioned that we do not have enough RF in order to run 24 quantum compressors. That statement is wrong, because everything in our base is operational and our induction matrix is capped out. The problem is that the energy crystals from Draconic Evolution have a limit on how much RF they can transfer, and it's not only the energy crystals, it's also the relay and the IO. And this IO is providing power to 7 energy crystals, so I think this guy capped out. But now that we have a quantum entangler porter with cryo-stabilized flux duct, everything is working fine. And also the problem was with the initial charge of these guys because they need like 500 million RF. It's crazy, I know. We have a very small net gain on 8 times compressed obsidian because we're not consuming that much EMC. The only thing that I'm making is fading matter. But I was thinking maybe we should do something about this final star shard because this guy is 3.4 quadrillion EMC. And since the final star shard is our biggest EMC sink, I was thinking maybe we should be able to get rid of it as soon as possible. Somehow. So this is 8 times compressed obsidian without any processes, and if we put you here... the thing is, we only need 8 of them, and we are losing 8 times compressed obsidian at a very insane rate, so I cannot keep it up. Okay, I had to know, what if I stop you? Well, we are losing it, it's less insane, I don't know. We have a central mob spawning platform in our mob farm, and even though it's not going to be hyper efficient, I thought we just use it. Cause I mean, a few more mobs won't hurt, right? Yeah, it's not the best, but it's okay. And we're still losing almost 200 blocks of 8 times compressed obsidian per second. So that's not something that I can fix. Cause for 200 more blocks I need like 50 spawners, and that's not gonna happen. Well, the thing is that we have reached the end game, so we cannot finish everything in one episode. So this will take time, I just have to make my peace with it. But talking about endgame, we almost have 750 of each singularity, which is great. So once this reaches 3000, I'm going to put in the next badge. And if I'm not wrong, next episode we should be able to make the ultimate singularity, the infinity catalyst, and maybe the infinity ingot. But those are the things that we have to leave for the next episode because I actually think that it's a good wrapping up point for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.